Good morning, students. Welcome back to biology class. In previous classes, we discussed about the food chain, food web, and ecological pyramids. And now we know that how various organisms obtain their food. But it's not only the food for which the organisms are interdependent on each other. There are other ways also for which we find interdependence between the organisms. So, in today's class, we will discuss some of the ways of interdependence between the organisms. One of the ways of interdependence is predation. You must have seen various animals hunting on different channels on your television. In this, the organism that is hunting is a predator, and the organism that is attacked is its prey. We can say in an ecosystem, predation is a biological interaction where a predator feeds on its prey. In a food chain, predator for one can also be a prey for the other. Another way of interdependence is parasitism. Mosquitoes, fleas, ticks on dogs and cats are examples of parasites which live on the host. So, parasitism is a non mutual relationship between the species where one species, the parasite, benefits at the expense of the other, the host, sometimes without killing the host organism. Next is symbiosis. It is an interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantage of both. For example, a group of soil bacteria called rhizobia live in the root nodules of leguminous crops. And in turn, these bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen, turning it into usable form of nitrogen for the plants. Bacteria living in your gut is also one example of symbiosis. Insects sucking nectar from the flower and in turn helping the flower in pollination is also an example of symbiosis. So you can say that symbiosis is a mutually beneficial relationship. Now we will discuss dependence of animals on plants. First of all, it is for food. All animals, you know that directly or indirectly, they depend upon the plants for their food as they are heterotrophs. They cannot make their own food. For oxygen, plants take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and give out oxygen in the atmosphere. And the animals take in this oxygen while breathing. For shelter, some animals like monkey, birds, insects like grasshopper, moths, ants, etc., they depend on plants for shelter. It's not only the animals which are dependent on plants, plants are also dependent on animals. Now we will discuss dependence of plants on animals. First of all, for carbon dioxide, animals take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide while breathing. And this carbon dioxide in turn is utilized by the plants in the process of photosynthesis and oxygen is released. Then secondly, for pollination, animals such as insects, birds, and some more animals help the plants by carrying the pollen grains to various places for pollination. For seed dispersal, the animals help the plants with the process of seed dispersal. Some seeds stick to the fur of the animals or birds and are carried from one place to another. So children, till now we have discussed about the various biotic components and their dependence on each other. Now we will discuss the abiotic components of the environment. As all of you know, abiotic means non-living. Sunlight, air, water, soil, temperature, these form an important part of the organism's habitat and influence their life. The most important abiotic component is sunlight. Sunlight is essential for all living organisms on Earth. It is the ultimate source of energy for all the living organisms. Green plants photosynthesize in the presence of sunlight and prepare food which is consumed by all life forms. Length of the day also influences the reproductive cycle of poultry and birds. Air. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are two gases that support life on the earth. Oxygen is required for the burning of fuels. Moving of air is called wind, and this wind is one of the agents of dispersal of seeds. Air also helps birds to fly. Next important abiotic factor is water. As all of you know that human body is about 60% of water by weight. Our body cells, tissues, blood and even bones contain water. Bodies of all organisms contain water. Water is a raw material essential for photosynthesis. Water also acts as a medium of transport in the bodies of both plants and animals. It is very important for seed germination and is habitat for many organisms. Soil. Soil is also called the skin of the earth. It provides the medium for plant growth. So we can one way say that soil is essential for the survival of life on the earth. It is the habitat for many animals such as snails, earthworms, etc. Temperature. Being just at the right distance from the sun, earth has a temperature that favors the growth and survival of living organisms. Temperature affects the distribution of plants and animals on Earth, and that is why very few organisms live in polar regions. Seasonal temperature variations affect when the plants will flower, when seeds germinate, and when animals hibernate. So, with these abiotic components, we wrap up with the chapter Ecosystem. Please make sure that you have thoroughly gone through all the videos and the PDF of the chapter from the book uploaded on Snap Homework. Post this, sincerely complete all the assignments given for this chapter. Thank you.